When a new building is planned, the architect's responsibility comes before the first brick is laid. He's the one who makes sure that the entire building is planned properly so that when it's finished, people can use it without any problem. Wouldn't it be foolish to start constructing a building without any sort of plan? Let's approach marriage in the same way. Okay? Before you start trying to get chose, there are certain things you need to do for preparation. Some of the most important things are getting to know yourself, preparing to present yourself, gathering your criteria that you would like in a spouse, and gathering your questions that you're going to ask your potential spouse. Okay? So let's take the first one, getting to know yourself. This is definitely not a trivial exercise. Many people haven't thought about this. What are your likes and dislikes? What are you passionate about? What makes you angry? You need to think about these and have good answers, because the person that you're speaking with definitely is going to ask you about one or more of these things. You also want to reflect on the past experiences that you have that have shaped who you are currently. Okay, we are not slaves to our past, but our past has a major influence on who we are. So for example, reflect on the relationship you had with your parents. How was it? How did your parents interact with each other? How did your family interact with neighbors and your extended family? Did you guys have an open house where any visitors could come and leave as they please, or was it a situation where people only came by invitation? All these things you need to gather answers to, so that when you're asked about them, you can give good, honest answers. Also ask yourself about the future. Do you want to get a PhD? Do you want lots of kids? Is there a certain place you'd like to live? What are some of your goals that you want to achieve for yourself? The answers to these questions, again, should be filed away so that you could have good, honest answers. The second thing you need to do in preparation overall is to prepare to present yourself. So using the information that you have from point number one, create an oral commercial that you filed away in your head, or actually write it down and create a marriage resume. Now, a marriage resume is not like a resume that you see, that you're gonna go apply for a regular job for. But what it is a few paragraphs detailing some of the things that I've already mentioned, and it should be mostly about you, not about the rest of your family or about how much you love the Kardashian show. Okay. After you've prepared the information about yourself, we're coming up to part 3. You should now prepare for what you want to know about others. Okay, one of the most important things you can do for yourself before you get married is to this one, I seriously encourage you, write this down. Write down a list of the qualities that you want in a future spouse. You should have a list of primary criteria, and then on the side, have a list of nice to haves. Primary criteria meaning the major things, okay? So for example, the spouse, he or she should be Muslim, have a good they come from a certain background, they volunteer in the community, they come from a good family, they pray their prayers every day, things like that. Okay? And honestly, in the primary criteria, there shouldn't be more than 5 or 6 things maximum that you're looking for in a spouse. And if you get past that, then you might be going off into into the realm of unrealistic expectations. Then on the side, you can have your nice to haves. These are things that you would like your spouse, qualities that you would like your spouse to have, but they're not going to make or break your decision. So these are lesser things such as hobbies like cooking and camping and fishing and exercise. Okay. Also personality traits like they should have a sense of humor and so on. When you make your list, run it by a trusted friend. The advice that we give to others, to our friends, generally keeps the big picture in mind. So ask a trusted friend, preferably someone who's married already. Go over this list with them to see if there's something that they feel may be unrealistic or something that they think that you should add, because they are married already. The last thing you should do is gather the questions that you want to ask your potential spouse. This has actually already been covered in detail in the Marriage Before and After series. So go check out that video, and then in the description section you can also find a link to, or 2 links, in fact, to lists of potential questions that you can ask. Okay. One thing we should mention about the qualities that you have that you want in a spouse is that this list is fluid, right? So things can move from the nice to have list to the essential list, and then can move from the essential list to the nice to have list. Okay, so just because you write the list down once doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to stay that way. And the last thing is that you don't have to be looking to get married right now in order to start this whole process. Okay, start now and go slowly. That way, when it's time for you to start looking, all this stuff will be ready for you to use. Brother Q signing off. Assalamu alaikum.